On the morning of December 7th, the Japanese Navy unleashed one of the deadliest fighters of the Pacific War, the famed A6M2 Type 21 Zero fighter.
The Zero was a superb fighter plane. The Americans didn't have anything either in the Army or the Navy that could deal with it effectively at that time.
The Zero was the stealth fighter of its day. The Japanese had gone to great lengths to keep it a secret. Claire Chennault, leader of a group of volunteer airmen called the Flying Tigers, had been fighting the Japanese and their Zeros in China the year before December 7th. He was astonished by the Zero's capabilities. The War Department quickly responded. Bunk. Such an airplane is an aerodynamic impossibility.
Often in our history, we underestimate our enemy. It happened in 1941. We ignored the warnings of Claire Chennault. It happened again in 2001. We underestimated Osama bin Laden. It's tragic that history always seems to repeat itself.
But after Pearl Harbor, we learned how to fight the Zero, as demonstrated in this training film, co-starring a young actor who would go on to greater fame.
There's just no use trying to dogfight a Zero. That's out. Your best bet is to hit fast, either the wings or just behind the cockpit. But if you miss, don't hang around.
Claire Chennault and his Flying Tigers had learned the best way to fight back.
Basic tactics for the American fighter pilot was to gain altitude, dive at the enemy, dive at the Zero, shoot at him because it's lightly armored. If you hit strikes on the aircraft, chances are you got it or set it on fire. And if you didn't, you just shoved the throttle into the corner and you kept on going down and go very, very fast. You would run away from it. In aerial combat, the worst mistake an American fighter pilot could make was to try to turn or pull up rather than just keep pointing into the ground as long as he couldn't go as fast as he could. If he made any kind of maneuver up or turn, the Zero could turn inside of him and it was all over.
Claire Chennault had conveyed this information to Washington in the months before Pearl Harbor. This advice, too, was ignored.
Had we gotten up 50 P-40s to face the Japanese Zeros, it is, in my opinion, the Zeros would have made short work of them quickly. It would have been a disaster.